Are you looking to increase Amazon book sales? Well, in today's video, I'm going to do a book product page review on Amazon, so stick around. Hey Write Writers, it's Keith Wheeler here, and if you want to continue to get all the hints, tips, and tricks on how to make self-publishing easier, then be sure to subscribe to the channel. Smash that little bell icon so you get alerted every time I put out something new. You've got your book cover, you've done your description, you've uploaded it, and you've waited a while and you're just not seeing the sales that you were hoping for or expecting. I'm actually going to do 2 book product page reviews on Amazon, one for a fiction book and one for a non-fiction book. Hopefully you can get a lot of really good tips to help you improve your own book product page on Amazon. So let's get started. Here we are in Amazon. I put it in incognito mode so that way my search history has absolutely no effect on anything that I do. So I want to go in, I'm going to just go for the Kindle versions. And the first book up is called Hand of an Angel. And it's by Mark Brownless. It looks like 1,000 results show up, so it's not as competitive as it could be. Let's see where he places. Okay, wow. Third down, first page placement, can't argue with that. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I see is his title. It's a good title. Shattering medical thriller with a heart-stopping climax. Great job. A lot of fiction authors either don't try or just can't seem to find a way to take targeted keywords and put them in their either title or subtitle. This was a great opportunity where he did. It looks like heart-stopping climax. I don't know if that's a keyword, but I'm sure medical thriller is. One thing I would do right off the bat is I would say that I would have capitalized each of these words in the subtitle. It's not a necessity, but it just looks better. It's more aesthetically pleasing. Now, one thing I see is, as you can see, his name is hyperlinked. That means that he has gone in and set up an Author Central page. That is a great first step for any author. If you don't have an Author Central page, they're absolutely free. If you don't have one, go to Author Central and get one and set it up. It makes a huge difference. It really does. Especially once you start coming up with more and more books. It's basically an entire sales page catalog of just your books all on one page for free on Amazon. So can't go wrong with that. So I'm looking at his cover. Now I will say some people would probably argue that that the title is kind of hidden here. So they may say, put some depth behind it, make it 3D. I actually prefer it the way it is. And this is one of the few exceptions because that hand really pops out. Another thing that I don't see enough, especially with independent authors, self-published authors, is people have a tendency to make their name, the author name, way too small. Mark's name is very prominent right here. It's not too big, but it's prominent enough to where just by looking at it, you know who the author is. And that's really great, especially if you plan on doing a series or any other multiple books in a specific genre, whether it's a series or not. You want your name and the way the name appears right here, the font, the size, everything to be consistent within your books. When you think of a Stephen King book or anybody big name like that, their names are very prominent because their name actually becomes part of their brand. And so the size, the font, the position, all of that, keeping it consistent, making it prominent. It's a great way not only to make it stand out, but also to make your book look more professional. Okay, I see he's got 3 stars. So he's got two total reviews, 1 5-star, 1 1-star. Okay, so I'm gonna click on the book and let's see where we go. First thing I would do, and obviously you really don't have a lot of control over this, but to try to get at least 2 or 3 more honest reviews. Again, the key is honest reviews. There's a lot of different ways that you can ask for honest reviews. And if he can just get probably 2 or 3 more, that will probably bring up his rating a bit. As long as you're like 3.5 stars or better, you're usually in a good spot. Okay. I see he only has 2 versions. He doesn't have an audiobook. You really want to have as many different platforms as possible because your readers consume your books in different ways. And so you want to make sure that you have it available in any way that you possibly can. Now, I know this particular author, and I know he is actually working on the audiobook, so he will have an audiobook here shortly. Love that it's on Kindle Unlimited, especially if it's a longer book. Yes, she makes you solely on Amazon for the ebook, but if it's a longer book, those page reads can really add up. So when you look at the price, it's reasonably priced for an ebook, and you want to make sure that the paperback is comparable, so that way people can say, well, for just a few dollars more, I can buy the paperback. So it all depends on what your goal is. Now, again, just because he's in Kindle Unlimited does not mean he has to keep his paperback only on Amazon. His paperback can be anywhere. It's just the ebook that you're limited with. Click over here and we're going to check out the look inside feature. Okay. I'm not going to read through all this. I'm just going to scroll through it quickly. The look inside feature, for those of you who didn't know this, your ebook is going to show 5% as a default, and your paperback is going to show 10% of your book. But what people don't know is you can actually have Amazon increase the percentage of your book that's shown on the look inside feature, up to 80% for the paperback and up to 90% for the ebook. So if you didn't know this, I actually did a video on it recently, take you step by step through the process on how to get Amazon to show more of your book. I'll include a link to it later in the video. One thing you want to do with your look inside feature is you want to leave them on a cliffhanger. They go through the time and read whatever you have listed here in the look inside feature. You want them to be like, okay, I have to get this book. I have to see what happens next. So that's a really key part that a lot of people ignore when it comes to the look inside feature. They think that, just what's there is all you get, and that's not the case. Okay, so we'll close this. Scroll down. Let's actually get to the meat and potatoes. Let's get to the description. Okay, so your very first line. I love how he has HTML. That's great. Makes it pop. Your very first line, in a lot of cases, is going to be all that shows. Like if you're looking on smartphone or even on a lot of different websites, that first line is the only thing that people may see. So you need to make sure that it is extremely compelling and that it makes them want to buy your book right off the bat. So again, you want to make sure you use HTML code. See, it says, how far would you go to get a glimpse of the afterlife, and what would you bring back? And then the next one, again, he used HTML code. That's great. I would say that you want this line to be bigger, or at least just as big as this line. So I would actually increase the size of this one. I would probably decrease the size of this one. Still keep it bold, but I wouldn't make it as big as the one above it. I'm not going to read through all this, but just briefly looking through here real quick, it looks like, okay, so the person, he's a doctor, he died and came back to life. Okay, so what I would do, again, you want to make this first line compelling. I mean, this is good, this is really good, but maybe something even more compelling that really, again, this may be the only line they see, and so maybe something like, you only die once, or do you? Something like that, and that would make them click the see more, or click the buy button even better. All right, so looking through here. Okay, this is just the script. I would actually include either take this line, add an extra space in between so it's down more, or add it to this paragraph. It just looks odd the way it's set up. Okay, so he's got 2 reviews right here, and these are from authors, so these aren't just normal reviews. What I would do is I would take these out of the description and instead go to the Author Central page and include them as editorial reviews. If you don't know how to do editorial reviews, big surprise, I did a video on that too, and where I show you step by step how to add in editorial reviews. It's really easy, doesn't take a lot of time at all, and again, it's free. So that's what I would do with this, because the editorial reviews makes your book look like you have more authority and really makes it stand out, because it actually shows up further down on the page. So we're going to scroll down. Okay, these are the also bots. Okay, see, so here's where your editorial reviews would go, right here. And so they would show up, and they'll actually show up in bold, and they'll be itemized because you actually put each one in as a separate editorial review. Now, what can you include as an editorial review? Again, I include it in the video, but basically, other authors, anybody who's an influencer for that particular genre. Matter of fact, for one of my children's books, I actually have a pediatrician who did a review on my book. She loved it, and so I included that as an editorial review. Blogs, anything like that. Okay, so here's a little bit about the author. That's another thing is when you scroll down, let's see. Okay, so great. He has a photo. So many people forget about putting a photo on their Author Central page, and it makes a big difference. It really does. People want to be able to associate a name with a face, and so just by putting a picture of yourself there, that makes a big difference as far as people wanting to read your book, wanting to read more of your books. Even if you're shy and you don't want a picture of yourself, a picture of your book cover, or something like that, something other than just nothing. Okay, so here's Mark's bio, and just like over here, there's a bio. But you can actually do, and this is again something you do on Author Central page, you can actually do a specific author bio specific to your book, or you can use it specific to your genre. I'm going to flip over to mine real quick. Okay, so this is my book, Hit Like a Girl. And this is my description. Don't get excited when you see these. All doesn't appear that way on Amazon. I wish it did. They took the colors out, so it's not orange anymore. It just shows in bold. And I've got an about the author. And this is a bio that I use. I'm not going to read it to you, but it's a bio that I use for all of my softball books, because it starts off with, "Hey, softball fans, Keith Wheeler here." So again, it makes it personal. And you can also do a from the author if you want to make it specific to that particular book. Anytime that your reader feels like you're reaching out to them, you're taking that extra step, they start to feel like they know you. And they feel like they know you and that you have this relationship. And so there's this thing called reciprocity, where they feel this need to reciprocate. And by doing so, they have a better chance of buying your book. So let's flip back over to Amazon page. Okay. And the last thing, and this is something that so many authors ignore, and that is this follow button. Okay. If you have an author newsletter or any way, whether it's on social media or whatever, to reach out to your fans, to reach out to your readers, make sure that you ask them when they go to your Amazon page for your book to click on that follow button. Because what that follow button does is every time that author, so every time you have a new book on Amazon, they're going to get an email from Amazon telling them that you have a new book out, whether it's on pre-order or it's just out live. So why is that a big deal, especially if I already have a newsletter? Well, if I have a newsletter and I'm sending an email out to everybody saying, "Hey, I just put my book up for pre-order," that's one email they're getting telling them about my book. But if they follow me as well, Amazon's going to email them as well. So that's twice as many contacts you have. Other than that, I think overall it's really great. Let's see if actually there's one more thing. He did a great job of having HTML right here. You always want to do it kind of like a bookend, kind of like an Oreo if you want to think of it that way. You want HTML at the top and HTML at the bottom. Also at the bottom, you want a call to action. You want, when they're done reading, the very last thing they see is you telling them what to do next. Again, you want that call to action to be in bold so it really stands out. Also, use this as an opportunity to throw in some more relevant keywords. So he said that it was a medical thriller, heart-stopping, maybe something like, "Scroll up and grab this heart-pounding page turner today." Again, put it in bold, maybe underline the word "today," something like that. And again, put it right here as your very last thing in your description, your call to action. He did a great job putting in some keywords. Yeah, other than that, I think he did a really good job. Okay, so now we're going to go to our second book, Yoga for Beginners. Okay, this one's got 2,000. Let's put our first name in there, just to speed things up. Okay, here it is. Your book cover to fit in with the other books in the genre, but you still want it to stand out, if that makes sense at all. So this one fits in, similar to other ones, but it does stand out. The colors are brighter and they really pop, so that's good. Let's see. I'm not a fan of definitely the author's name. I think that's what that is. That is way too small. And even the title, you can see the word yoga, but other than that, you really can't read it. You can't read the subtitle. So that I would make the title bigger, maybe make the name bigger. She doesn't have an Author Central page, so that's something I would definitely add. Again, Author Central pages are free, so go in there, add that. Yoga for Beginners, quick and easy guide to start your yoga journey. Looks like she's got some keywords in there. That's great. Okay, let's click on this. Doesn't have any reviews, so really nothing you could do there except for, like I said, you know, if you don't, even if you don't have a newsletter, social media, however you have to contact readership, do that. Ask for reviews. Ask for honest reviews. I've covered this in so many different videos, but the back of your book, you want to ask for book reviews. You want to ask book reviews at the beginning of your book as well. You don't need a whole ton, and don't waste too much time trying to get book reviews. But a couple book reviews can really make a big difference. She has all 3 versions. That's awesome. All right, let's click on look inside feature. All right, so it looks like the last part is right here where it tells you what's in the book. It's actually a great place to stop it. I don't know if she watched my video and actually requested to only have this much show, or if it's just a coincidence. But either way, great place to stop. Okay, so close this. Let's look at the prices. Okay, so the book is $9.99. It's on Kindle Unlimited. Let me scroll down and see how big this book is real quick. It's only 64 pages. In a case like that, Kindle Unlimited would probably help you more to get the book reviews, to do the free promotion, countdown deal, something like that, just to get those reviews in, because you're not really going to get a lot of money for the page turns when it's only 60-something pages. $4.99 is a bit pricey for a short book like that, but they could be possibly doing it so that way people are more enticed to buy the paperback. I don't know. I would consider lowering the price of that to probably $2.99, but obviously you can do whatever you want. Okay, let's look at the description. I love how it pops right here. Good spacing. Relieve pain, stress, anxiety. Really great ways to add in some keywords. I'm sure those are keywords. A few easy steps. That's probably keywords too. Let's see. You know, it's and to be honest, adding in keywords in your title and your subtitle and your description are a lot easier for nonfiction books like this. But you know, in your description, as Mark showed in his book, there's absolutely opportunities where you can add in keywords. So as long as it makes sense and they're relevant. Okay, simple poses, relieve chronic pain. That's great. Okay, so then she's got more HTML. I will say there's no need for this because it's the title of the book, so you don't need to repeat keywords because the A9 algorithm is only going to use it one time, so that's really a waste, but it's fine because it flows fine in this particular case. In this book, you'll learn again more HTML as far as bullet points. I will say, if I'm going to be picking, these bullet points kind of plain, they're just normal bullet points. I actually did a video on how to add different bullet points. You can add a heart in a circle, or a circle with a star inside it, all different kinds. I think you can even do snowflakes, so I'll include a link to that video too. Again, just makes it pop, making your description stand out more. But I mean, they did bullet points, which is better than just doing like lines or anything like that. Let's see. Okay, I love this right here. Love it, love it, love it. Not so much the fact that it's in bold, which is great, but they did something else. If you have a book, especially if it's a nonfiction book, take your last chapter or your last 2 chapters, and instead of just including it as a chapter in the book, call it a bonus chapter. People love bonuses. People love things that they're getting for free. Add-ons, additions, whatever you want to call it. By her writing, everything that's included and so much more, and then right here, a 4-week sample yoga plan. She easily could have just included this as one of the things that's in the book. But instead, by putting bonus, it draws its attention, makes it sound like you're getting more than for what you paid for, and by putting in bold, it really pops. This book now to relieve your pain, stress, and anxiety without the hassle of an expensive gym membership. I'm sure some of these are keywords, although it sounds like it's a little bit redundant. So again, there's no need in repeating keywords. And then, just like I was just talking about with Mark's, having a call to action, that's great. She finished it up with bold. So, when you're looking at this, every single line pops. The way she's got it formatted, as far as, short paragraphs, having HTML riddled throughout it, but not too much, because if you put it all in bold, nothing's basically in bold. So you want to space it out perfectly, and I really think she did. If I was going to be too picky, I'd say maybe underline something in here, scroll up and click the buy, but maybe underline buy button or just the word buy to drill down even more what you want them to do. But again, that's great. Let's see what else we've got. Obviously, there's no reviews, and because they don't have an Amazon Author Central page, they don't have a bio or anything like that, which is no bueno. Definitely want to get your Author Central page set up. But other than that, I think by making just a few tweaks with both books, just a few tweaks that are very easy to make, don't take a lot of time, and you really don't need to do a lot as far as, asking for KDP's help or paying somebody to do anything. Neither one of these needed really, I'd say, a book cover change. I think their book covers were pretty good. If I had to compare the two, I would say I think Mark's was more spot on for his niche, as opposed to this one. Again, I would make maybe do a new cover with the title and the name a little bit bigger, but it's not a deal breaker. You can tell by just the image, as well as the word yoga is big enough to where you can tell what the book is about. But yeah, I think both of these, just by making a few minor tweaks, can really increase the book sales on Amazon. I know I threw a whole lot at you, and earlier I talked about a couple of videos I did where I did the video on how to increase your inside feature, and also how to add in different bullet points right here. And again, I'll include a link to them here. Now, you've probably been told that you can't get your book into a physical bookstore unless you've bought your own ISBN. Well, that's hogwash. Click on this video right here, and I will show you exactly how I have my books in over 20 physical bookstores, even in cities I've never even stepped foot in. So go on and click on that video, or you can click on this video right here and see what YouTube has set up for you. So I've got videos everywhere. I've got videos up here and videos over here and videos over here. Click on one of the videos so we can chat some more. See you in the next video, and remember to write right.